by the City Council and according to open meeting law, since this meeting was posted as a Zoom meeting to the public, this meeting is recorded by video and audio and will be conducted by remote participation. Additionally, all votes taken by the City Council during this and future remote meetings will be by roll call vote. If you're calling in on a phone, you can press *9 to request to speak. If you're watching on a computer or device, there's a raised hand button that you can tap or press to request to speak. Please use either of these options during oral communications to be recognized to speak. It's the finding of the City of Gloucester that no individual should be denied equal treatment or opportunity because of their age, ancestry, color, disability, including intellectual and developmental mental disability, family status, immigration status, gender identity or expression, military status, marital status, national origin, race, religion, sex, or sexual orientation. I'd like to begin by announcing the names of our city councilors and city staff who are present. First, to the left of me at the table here at the Harbor Masters Conference Room is Councilor Scott Memard, who is our Ward 1 City Councilor. To his right, we have Tracy O'Neill, who is our Ward 2 City Councilor. I'm Val Gilman, I'm the President of the City Council, and I'm the Ward 4 City Councilor. We have Jason Grove, who is an at-large City Councilor. We have Joanne Sinos, our City Clerk, as well. We have a little technical difficulty tonight because the Zoom camera is MIA, but we've asked IT to call us and find that. And it looks like
it's not the camera.
Okay,
No,
it's not the camera, it's the Zoom.
It's the control.
It's the control. Thank you, Jill.
For the,
Jeff, you need to sit right up here. And Council Worthley just came in. He is an at-large city councilor. And on the counselor on them, I'm on it. So additional counselors that are zooming in tonight include Sean Nolan, Ward 5 City Councilor and our Vice Chair, Frank Margiotta, who is our Ward 3 City Councilor, Councilor Jamie O'Hara, who is at-large City Councilor, and Councilor Gross will not be on the call tonight. And for city staff, in addition to Joanne Sinos, hi Jack, good morning. We have Jill Cahill, who is our CAO, Kenny Costa, who is our auditor. We have John Dunn, our CFO. And I think that's it for people. And we've got two, in terms of attendees, we have Pam Toby, who is our Director of Communications and Constituent Services. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 members of the public on our Zoom call. So first order of business, and I introduced you too when you came in. So Jeff Worthy is here. Okay.
Do we have links? We're not using our Zoom. We're not using our own computers today.
We're all on the screen.
Thank you.
So my video has stopped on my phone. Okay, so our first order of business, Madam Clerk.
is oral communications.
The public shall have the opportunity at every regularly scheduled meeting to be heard under oral communications on matters not appearing on the agenda. Oral communications shall allow any resident who has a request or complaint of any nature relative to city business to appear before the council, state their problem without debate, I'm all set, and the matter shall be referred to the proper agency through the office of the mayor. The resident will be notified within a 2-week period relative to the disposition of same, and a copy shall be forwarded to the city council. Persons speaking under oral communications shall be limited to 3 minutes each. Madam Clerk, is there anyone that would like to speak to the council for up to 3 minutes? I see 4 hands raised. Could you bring the first person in? Thank you.
Larry Russo.
Okay, Larry Russo, would you introduce yourself to our council?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you nice and loud, yep.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. My name is Larry Russo and I reside at 56 Ye Olde County Road on Rust Island. I'm asking, once again, the city to upgrade the seasonal water system on Rust Island to year-round distribution for the assurance of fire protection. I spoke previously to the council on this matter on June 27th, but feel compelled to speak again. I'm deeply concerned about three common factors between the recent tragic fire on the island of Maui and similar circumstances that exist on Rust Island. Number one, we have a highly combustible forestry. Number two, we have a likely ignition source. Number three, we have no water for fire suppression. I'll explain. The heavy forestry and thick vegetation on the island has gone unmanaged by the city since the bridge was built 70 years ago. This forestry is highly vulnerable to a quick-moving blaze. A possible ignition source could very likely come from the aged National Grid electrical infrastructure. Many of the power lines that service the island and related equipment likely predate 1953, making them over 70 years old. And most importantly, we have no water to fight even a minor fire, let alone an island blaze. On behalf of the homeowners and residents of Rust Island and Biscay Head, we demand to know when to expect an appropriation of funds and a reliable timeline to install permanent water to fulfill your basic obligation to provide water service that satisfies the current Massachusetts residential fire codes. I look forward to a written response from the mayor, and thank you for the opportunity to be heard once again on this matter.
Thank you, Larry. Next person, Council O'Hara, since you're first on the roll call tonight, would you mind just timing these at 3 minutes? Let us know.
That's fine.
Thank you. So next person,
Is Kevin O'Malley.
Kevin O'Malley, would you introduce yourself and your address? And you have 3 minutes to speak to our council. Thank you for being here.
Hello, my name is Kevin O'Malley. I live at 47 Crafts Road, and I want to thank you for providing this opportunity to speak. I've done so, as have my neighbors, since May. I am speaking too for the need for deep year-round water to be supplied to Rust Island. Today, my neighbor Ann Strong emailed me, as well as city councilors, a copy of the City of Gloucester Capital Improvement Plan for water mains and valve repair and replacement. I hope that everybody can peruse this document. And specifically right now, I'd like to refer to page 2 of the document that cites 14 target areas for water and sewer improvement. Rust Island is cited as a target area, but I think there's a difference. While we support all those areas being taken care of, and perhaps water leaks in the downtown area and the problems that may cause, we know that by far Rust Island is of greater concern. It is a public safety issue. We have a fire threat there. Fire cannot be suppressed with 42 households, 3 businesses, and we need to be put at the top of the list, not for summer water upgrades, but the top of the list of all 14 areas. Tonight, I have a request. In the next couple of days, I feel Ward 5 Councilor Sean Nolan and at-large councilors Gross, O'Hara, and Worthley have an opportunity to show their support for their Rust Island constituents by writing a letter advocating for deep year-round water to the mayor. That letter should state that Rust Island should be at the top of the list. You may either write that directly to the mayor and email me in that letter, or mail it directly to me, o'malleyk95@gmail.com. That's also on Ann's email today, my email. I will present the letters to the mayor this Friday when we have an opportunity to meet with him on this topic. In 2013, then Ward 5 Councilor Verger was going to leave the ward and go for a councilor at large seat. He made a statement, quote, "I will continue to speak out for equity for all water ratepayers regarding infrastructure updates." At this point, Rust Island has not been part of any upgrade. Now is the time for the mayor to take action on his statement from 2013 and vision for the future. Take action. Now is the time for councilors to step up and express your support for the residents of Rust Island. They are your constituents. You need to provide for their safety. And last but not least, the bottom line, now is the time to bring year-round water to Rust Island and protect its residents and business. It's an obligation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Kevin. Next person with their hand raised, Madam Clerk.
Is Jeff.
Jeff, would you introduce yourself in your address, and you have 3 minutes to speak to the council for matters not on the agenda.
Sure. My name is Jeff Brown. I live at 145 Essex Ave. And I have a very simple question today. I wanted to get the city's position on a general provision in the Code of Ordinances. It's only 3 or 4 sentences long, so I'll read it. It's Section 10, Certificate of Election and Appointment, Oath of Office. Every person who is elected, including those elected by the City Council or appointed by the mayor to an office, shall receive a certificate of such election or appointment from the city clerk, except as otherwise provided by law. Before performing an act under his election or appointment, he shall take and subscribe to an oath to qualify him to enter upon his duties. A record of takings of such an oath shall be made by the city clerk. An oath required by this section may be administered by the mayor or any officer authorized by law to administer oaths. And this provision references Mass General Laws, Chapter 41, Section 107, Oath of Office, beginning of term. So yeah, I just wanted to get the city's position on this, on whether they abide by this, whether it doesn't need to abide by this law. And that's it. It's kind of confusing for the layperson to understand.
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
You're very welcome.
Next person with their hand raised is Joel Favazza. Joel, would you introduce yourself and state your address? You have 3 minutes to speak to our council.
Good evening, Joel Favazza, 28 Middle Street, speaking as a resident. Just my annual reminder to the council that there is a need for a crosswalk that is at the top of Angle Street, crossing over toward where my house is located at 28 Middle Street. Regardless of the crosswalk that is at the corner of the Legion, no one seems to use it. I have no complaints with people using my driveway as the way to get strollers, wheelchairs, etc., down across Middle Street. However, because there is no crosswalk, it is a pretty dicey situation, and I watch a lot of, unfortunately, close calls from my window sometimes, especially during the summer. In addition to that crosswalk, if there is a crew out there painting, it would be a great time to stripe the no parking zone. Oftentimes during busy events, the no parking zone will get parked in. And again, while I don't mind cars in front of my house, it does cause traffic to back up past the Joan of Arc statue. So hopefully there's some low-hanging fruit if the DPW is able to get out there and put a crosswalk out there at the top of Angle Street, crossing over to Middle, and maybe stripe off the no parking zone in front of 28 Middle. That would be really helpful for some pedestrian safety, tourist safety, and if I'm being honest, my children's personal safety. So thanks so much, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you, Joel. Anyone else like to speak in public comments? Seeing none. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Is the consent agenda.
Councilors, would anyone like to remove any matter that's on the consent agenda of August 22nd, 2023? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So, second.
Motion made by Councilor sorry, and seconded by Councilor Memard. Roll call vote. Councilor O'Hara,
Yes.
Councilor O'Neill,
Yes.
Councilor Worthley.
Yes.
Councilor Gilman, yes. Councilor Gross is absent. Councilor Grow.
Yes.
Councilor Majota.
Yes.
Councilor Memard.
Yes.
Councilor Nolan.
Yeah.
The yeses have it, 8 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Is the unanimous consent calendar.
Is anyone, so we have one item on the unanimous consent agenda, and it is as follows. And it's on the city website if anybody wants to know what this is. It's a memorandum from the city clerk regarding Blueberry Lane petition for repair of private ways pursuant to GCO section 21-80. through 21-86. And that is to refer this to BNF. So this is only for the purpose of referring to BNF, and all the information is in the packet behind this one matter on the unanimous consent calendar. Is there a motion to approve the amendment to the mayor's report, the memorandum from city clerk?
So moved.
Moved by Counselor Grow, seconded by
Seconded.
Counsel Nolan. Thank you. Roll call vote. Counsel O'Hara,
Yes.
Counsel O'Neill,
Yes.
Counsel Worthley,
Yes.
Counsel Gilman, yes. Counsel Gross is absent. Counsel Grow,
Yes.
Counsel Majota,
Yes.
Memard,
Yes.
Counsel Nolan.
Yes.
The yeses have it, 8 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Is the Budget and Finance Standing Committee report of August 17th.
Okay, and I'm going to turn the meeting over to Counsel Memard, our Chair of BNF. So you have the floor, Counselor.
Thank you. We met last Thursday here in the Harbor Master's office. It was a hopping neighborhood then with a Thursday night concert going on, so sort of tough to be doing your business down here on a Thursday night. But it's a lively place. We have 2 items tonight for your consideration. The first was a memorandum from Gemma Wilkins, our Sustainability Coordinator, requesting acceptance of a road vulnerability study, or an MVP action grant, in the amount of $58,506. So
Would you
can go
make
ahead and
your
make the motion?
recommendation? Yes, thank you.
So, on a motion by myself, Councilor Memhard, seconded by Councilor Gross, Budget and Finance Committee voted by roll call, 3 in favor, 0 opposed, to recommend the City Council accept under Mass General Law, Chapter 4453A, a state grant for the Massachusetts Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs for the fiscal year 24 Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness MVP program grant in the amount of $58,506 to complete the project entitled City of Gloucester Low-Lying Roads Project. The purpose of this grant is to identify and prioritize the vulnerability of low-lying roads, consider conceptual design alternatives for 2 high-priority road segments, and engage the community to receive feedback on analysis results and understand tolerance and support for potential solutions. The minimum local match is 25% of total project costs using cash or in-kind contributions. The total local match is $19,697 from staff in-kind hours. The grant period is through June 30th, 2024, and I so move.
Motion's made by Counsel Memard, seconded by Counsel Grow. Is there a discussion, and would you like to do a narrative, Counsel Memard?
This is a continuation of work that we did in our brainstorming session at City Hall several years ago, and this is actually to further focus, do the studying and community input to further focus priorities for addressing specifically roads that are vulnerable to rising sea levels and storms here in Gloucester, which we all know we have several, but this is the next step towards qualifying for actually taking some steps of implementation. And this would help us qualify for any support for those qualifying funding support.
Great. Any other further discussion from any counselors?
Can I ask questions?
Sure.
Okay, so I know you budget and finance, so I know you did the numbers, but I multiplied 58,506 by 25%, I came up with 15 something, not 19 something.
Gonna have to get you on budget and finance. I'm not sure why there's a discrepancy there.
And I left my paperwork,
Yep.
but you can do it on your,
No, I
Oh.
don't, I don't question the percentages, but
Yeah.
there may be some other cost elements that aren't formally here. I don't have the full grant application open in front of me.
Would either Kenny Costa or John Dunn be willing to answer that? I know it's kind of off the short notice. I see John Dunn.
So I don't have any of those numbers in front of me. But, you know, once again, the 25% or the 10% or the 15% is a part of the entire cost of the project. So it's not, you can't take a look at the grant and then use the math against the grant. So Counselor, I don't know exactly what your math was, but I'm guessing that you have to kind of gross up the entire cost of the project. And then some is covered by a grant and the percentage is covered by the city.
Follow up?
Sure.
So the total local match is 19,697. So that's the total match that the city's paying in. So
Can
Jill has a raise.
I have a suggestion?
Can we just,
Yes.
Jill Cahill, our CAO, has her hand raised, so I'd like to,
And Kenny does also.
and
so.
Kenny, so why don't we, Jill, you have the floor?
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I'm in the car, but just, and again, I don't have it directly in front of me at the moment, but having been the community development director and dealt with many of these grants, oftentimes, so again, I want to remind Councilor O'Neill that the match is in-kind staff hours who will be working on this project, and that this project was identified through a whole community effort in 2018 as a priority. So it is not cash, it is staff time and working on a project that was identified by the community. And the 19,000 may be the actual estimate of total cost of the staff time, which means, and we often will often do more than the required 25% match, because that's how it works out when we do the math of what we anticipate the time. So that's, anyway, a summary of typically how we approach these things from community development. You take a real look at what it's going to take for staff time and add that up, and it often exceeds the match requirement. It also makes us more competitive in the grant cycle.
Thank you, Jill. And Kenny, your hand is raised, our auditor?
Yes. Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear, thank you.
Thank you. So within the BNF packet, there is a page called Gloucester Low-Lying Roads Fiscal Year 24 MVP Action Grant Scope / Budget. So it shows the 58,506 grant amount, and then there's a column called in-kind match. It shows you the, all the different parts that, city staff will be working on. So there's different project tasks and deliverables. That total is 19,697. So when I reviewed these motions last week, I saw the 19,697. If you take 58,506 and times that by 25%, that's 14,626.50. As Jill just mentioned, that is, exceeds the amount of the required match. So because it shows a total project cost of 78,203, and that's in the last column in that spreadsheet. So I would recommend, anybody who wants to see a breakdown of this project to go to the scope / budget worksheet. It shows a clear breakdown of the grant and the match and the total project cost. I feel like it's quite clear.
okay, thank you very much. Yeah.
I would just say also, just following up on Councilor Neal's good math check, that the total amount of the project, if you combine the grant amount of 58,506 with the allocated 19,697 local share, total is $78,203, of which our share is 25%.
Okay, is that what you're gonna say before?
25% of the.
Sorry.
It's within a couple $100 difference.
Okay. Okay, so I think any further discussion on this? Seeing none, roll call vote, Council O'Hara,
Yes.
Council O'Neill,
Yes,
Council Worthley,
Yes.
Council Gilman, yes. Council Gross is absent, Council Grow,
Yes.
Council Majota,
Yes.
Council Memard.
Yes.
Council Nolan.
Yes.
Yeses have it, 8 in favor, 1 absent. Next order of business, Council Memard.
Our second item from Budget and Finance tonight is a memorandum from our Management Information Systems Director, Ryan Knowles, requesting our acceptance of a state earmark funding in the amount of $300,000. I'll go ahead and read the motion. On a motion by myself, Councilor Memhard, seconded by Councilor Gross, the Budget and Finance Committee voted by roll call, 3 in favor, 0 opposed, to recommend the City Council accept under Mass General Law 4453A, a state grant from the Massachusetts Executive Office of Housing and Economic Development. A state budget earmark account number is noted in the amount of $300,000, and this is for the purpose of broadband infrastructure improvements to the City of Gloucester and the towns of Manchester by the Sea, Rockport, and Essex. The grant period is from April 13th, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, and there is no local match or in-kind requirement. And I so move.
Second.
A motion made by Council Memard, seconded by Council Worthley. Do you have a narrative, Council Memard?
This is a longstanding project that Ryan has been focusing our efforts on. We're taking the lead here and collaborating as the grant recipient and channeling this $300,000 to oversee a project for broadband fiber optic municipal connections between the 4 communities that were listed, and Ryan and his crew are taking the lead, working with the IT departments of the other communities that are involved. But this will be for municipal purposes only between our police, our fire, and our city governments, town governments here on the North Shore. So it's a great project, and will add to the resilience and the speed for quite a while going forward in terms of fiber optic internet connectivity between our communities. And the only drawback is that this is just for the municipal community. It doesn't provide any new opportunities for residential or business broadband, which we also duly need.
Thank you, Councilor. Any further discussion on this? I would just add that having subbed in that meeting of VNF, it was a very robust conversation with great leadership from Ryan Knowles, our Director of IT. So I'm very comfortable with moving forward on this. So our roll call vote, councilors, Council O'Hara,
Yes.
Council O'Neill,
Yes.
Council Worthley.
Yes.
Council Gilman, yes. Council Gross is absent. Council Grow.
Yes.
Council Majota,
Yes.
Council Memard.
Yes.
And Council Nolan.
Yes.
Yeses have it, 8 in favor, 1 absent. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Is the Ordinance and Administration Standing Committee report of August 14th.
Council Nolan.
We have nothing in front of us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
The Planning and Development Standing Committee did not meet. That meeting was canceled. So the next item is the scheduled public hearing. The application of Peter Castaccini, owner of property Nicholas M. Gitaloni, for an open air parking space permit pursuant to Gloucester Code of Ordinances, section 22-153 and Mass General Law, chapter 148, section 6, located at 2 Long Beach Road, map 180, lot 1 in the EB district.
Thank you. I'd like to open the public hearing and ask for the applicant to speak. And I see Peter Castaccini is on the phone call. So would you like to introduce yourself and your address and talk to our council about your proposal?
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Nice. So, yeah, I own the house at 10 Twilight Ave, or
Well,
kitty
just a
corner
second.
to this parking
Peter,
lot.
Peter, can you
Yes.
just hold on for a second? Council Nolan has his hand raised. Go ahead.
Can we bring Peter in as a panelist so we can see his face? Just because it's something that's been going on for a long time and it's been a great thing, but it'd be nice to place a face to the value of the permit.
So let me see if I can. move
Okay,
them out and let me put them back in.
Peter, just pause for a second. We're gonna see if we can get your headshot on this.
He's rejoining as a panelist now.
Okay, you're rejoining us as a panelist. And I bet we're gonna see you on camera.
There we go.
There you are. Voila, welcome. So,
Yeah, I was a little confused as I couldn't see, you didn't see my video. I was like, what's going on? I thought I was having connection issues, so I appreciate that.
begin your introduction. We're all
Yeah,
ears.
so, thank you. So my name's Pete Castrocini. We own a house at 10 Twilight Ave, which is kind of kitty corner to this lot. We've known Nick for a few years. I have 3 boys that have been running the lot and helping Nick run the lot the last few years. And, you know, we've had a good time doing it. It supports the, you know, the local neighborhood, and we have good relationships there, and we enjoy doing it. So the opportunity came up, we talked to Nick, and here we are today. So we're just looking to just transfer that license and continue as is. So that's really where we're at, and a little of that history there. So we love the area, and, you know, just want to continue to be a part of it. So that's really what this is about.
Great, thank you. Would anyone else like to speak in favor? Seeing none, would anyone like to speak in opposition? Seeing none, are there any correspondences or communications, Madam Clerk?
Yes, we received one on August 18th, which I forwarded to the full council from an abutter, Paul Finch and Karen Finch. And they reside at 12 Twilight Avenue. And although they do wish Peter well in his endeavor in the open air parking lot business, we would like to note a few concerns that they have. When Peter's son is running in the parking lot and gets full on the weekends, he has been charging cars and having them park on the street in front of his father's rental at 10 Twilight Ave. Over the summer, we and other neighbors have repeatedly spoken to Peter's son to let him know that it is not legal to charge cars and send them up the street to park in front of his father's rental house. Our efforts have not deterred him. The parking lot is full. The parking lot is for 21 spaces. There are also parking cars next to the fence outside the parking lot once the lot is full. We'd like to be on record that this is an ongoing issue that we hope will be addressed.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Any further correspondences?
No.
Any council questions for the applicant? Council Worthling.
Thank you. Welcome, Peter. A
Thank
couple
you.
questions on the process. Does this go before the Planning Development Committee or the Ordinance Administration Committee? P&D, or to P&D.
Mhm.
And so I'm looking for the permit from the Code of Ordinances. So it feels like it, and I'm not trying to hold up your application, but it feels like it should go to O&A as well. Since he's seeking a permit using the code that you cited. I'm looking at it right now. Section 22-153. So it's not a zoning, it requires zoning relief as well, but then the Code of Ordinances needs to be honored. So that was just one thing, again, nothing to do with Peter's application. So I throw that question to you, Madam Chair, if there's any, I don't think there's any members of O&A here.
Joanne, our city clerk.
So it's in the Code of Ordinances because of the process, okay, and what the requirements are. That's why it was put in the Code of Ordinances and it follows the Mass General Law. But historically, because it's land, it has always been gone to P&D.
It says here, applicants, if I may, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Applicants for a license under this section must first obtain any necessary zoning relief required by section 2.3.6, subsection 1 or 2 of the zoning code. So I don't think we would have said, whoever wrote this years ago, would have said first go to the zoning relief and then apply for a license. So that's just a question, and it cites an application that is supposed to be signed off by the building inspector. So I just, process wise, want to make sure we're crossing T's and dotting I's, and I hadn't thought of it before today, so.
Joanne, do you have anything to further add
No,
to
because
this?
what usually happens is that when we receive an application, and this has been in like former owners, they receive relief from the building inspector unless they have to go to the ZBA. So what we usually do is reach out to the building inspector and he sends a memo.
And then is this application, an application through the clerk's office?
Yes, they have to
Okay.
file with us, yes. Mhm.
Answers that part. My second question, again, I know you said questions for the applicant, this is for us too. There's another significantly larger lot in Gloucester, but closer to Long Beach. I forget the address, but it's literally if you, that further down. And I think that has about 200 spots. There's no affiliation between this application and that application.
No.
Okay. So the larger question I like to ask, again, not specific to this application, is when I used to work at our beach, people would park at Long Beach in Gloucester and then walk back to Good Harbor. And so the question would be, we have a fee for this. I think it's $100, is that right? Plus an additional $100 plus an additional $10 for each parking space. Is that? Or did you take care of with this application?
No, not yet, because you have to get the approval first before the hearing.
Okay.
But we ran into the city clerk's
All
office.
right.
And
So-
also they have to show ownership. So this is a transfer. So once I receive the documentation that the property has been transferred to them, then everything comes after.
Okay, so then my final question on this, again, not specifically for the applicant. If the lot is full, I would say 500-600 people walk back from the Long Beach parking lot and go to Good Harbor Beach. Long Beach doesn't have lifeguards, doesn't have concession stand, doesn't have bathrooms, doesn't have DPW that takes care of it. I think the hotel owner, Brad Pierce, takes care of the beach mostly. But there's a cost to the city. Again, your number of spots at Twilight isn't the big impact, but there is a cost to the city. Every time a toilet flushes at the concession stand, no one's paying for that water, right? And that burden is absorbed by all our taxpayers. And so at some point, I'd like to have a deeper conversation about, a property owner is making money from a public benefit the taxpayers are paying for. And we have $100 fee for the license and $10 per parking spot once per year. So I'm not gonna hold this application up. I think especially for the larger lot, when that comes up for renewal, I like to really weigh what is our cost from the city's perspective and what are taxpayers getting back in revenue. So Peter, I wish you well. The concerns the neighbors raised, I think, should be addressed. But I'm not gonna dig into that. That's between, I guess, building inspector.
It's planning and development decision. So we heard the comments and we can amend the request if we feel that that's important.
I'm sure we'll be discussing that.
Yeah.
So I wish you well, Peter. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter. Councilor Nolan, hand is raised.
You're on mute, bud. You're on mute.
Councilor Nolan, you are on mute.
I've been reading this and updating it along the way. This lot has been a great area and with little complaints on it. And being on O&A for close to 8 years, I can understand why this is in plan and development. And there's some restrictions that are given with this grant. I don't necessarily believe it's an ordinance change. I believe it's some conditions that has been thoroughly voted with plan and development. And I think it's good for the city the way it is. And I'm glad that someone wants to step forward and work with his children on a business venture. So I really don't have any questions. It's more of a statement, but thank you.
Okay, any further questions? Councilor O'Hara?
Thank you. I was wondering if Peter could just address the letter that the city clerk read from your neighbor pertaining to the parking beyond the scope of your lot. How that can be clarified.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, the Finches live right next door. We know them. We talk to them all the time. I know the boys go and it's our vehicle that's parking on the outside. So whether we put them in front of the house, I know they had some friends over that visited up at the house. I will talk to them and make sure that they're not doing that. I believe it's friends. And like I said, we do put our vehicle, whether, with 3 boys, we have numerous cars, and whether they'll take ours or my wife's or whatever. So the cars that are usually on the outside of that thing are our cars for parking for the lot. Now we can put them up at Twilight, which gives us some flexibility for that. So I think us being close by has some flexibility, but we will talk to the boys and make sure that they're not paying cars or, friends come up to the beach all the time. And we'll address those concerns.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome very much.
Any further questions from counselors?
Yeah, I just have another question. I asked you this at P&D and you mentioned, I asked you if you had any plans of paving that lot and you said no, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it states somewhere in the thing that to remain grass and short grass or something to that effect. I really have no intents on paving the lot. So I may stripe the grass and just try and organize, but I don't even think I'm gonna do that. So that would be the extent of just some organization, but I have no intents to pave that lot at all.
Okay, thank you, because I would hate to see it change the water table and whatnot. So thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that.
Thank you, Peter. Any further questions from counselors? Council Memard.
Hi, Peter. I'd just like to confirm this is in Ward 1, and I've had a long relationship with Angela Proposini. This is the same lot that we're talking about that Angela operated for many years.
Yeah, right across from the new motel, the new 10 units, right across from that.
Before the Gigalonis, it was Angela's. And I just,
yeah,
based on my
exactly.
experience working with her, she was very conscientious to pay attention to the neighbors and operate the lot carefully within the letter of the law as the permit spells out. So I would just hope that she was very proud of that and always made a point of stressing that to the B&D and the city council. And I'd just like to say that we look to you for the same responsibility that Angela demonstrated for many years operating this lot. Thank you.
Yeah, she did you're welcome. Thank you. She did a great job. I agree.
Thank you. Any further questions, counselors? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing and ask for the committee report from our P&D chair, Councilor Grow.
That would be me.
Yes.
On a motion of Councilor Grow, seconded by Councilor Gilman, Planning and Development voted 3 in favor, 0 opposed to recommend that the City Council grant a license for Peterbilt LLC pursuant to Mass General Law 148, Section 56, and Gloucester Code of Ordinances, Section 22-153, for an open air parking lot at 2 Long Beach Road, Gloucester, Massachusetts, with the following conditions and restrictions as listed as follows. There's a lot. Number 1, the issuance of the license is conditioned upon submission of documentation that proves ownership of the property pursuant to Gloucester Code of Ordinances 22-53A. Number 2, that this license shall be valid from date of City Council approval through April 30th, 2028, upon payment of the appropriate fees to the city clerk. 3, that prior to the issuance of the license by the city clerk, the applicant shall pay over to Cape Ann Motor Inn the sum of $100 for the maintenance of the Gloucester portion of Long Beach. Number 4, that the number of cars allowed to park on the lot at any one time is limited to 21. 5, that the 1 space of the 21 spaces allowed is to be designated handicap parking. 6, that the individual parking spaces shall be delineated and be in accordance with the plot plan approved by the building inspector dated June 22nd, 2016, and on file in the city clerk's office, and per the building inspector's memo dated July 7th, 2021, and that the 2 spaces located in the middle of the lot be compliant to section 4.1.4 subsection 9C of the city's zoning ordinance, which requires that the travel lane be 14 feet wide. 7, that the grass in the parking lot be kept short. 8, that an attendant shall be on duty at all times during hours of operation. 9, that the fire chief and building commissioner approve of the parking plan. See building inspector memo dated December 29th, 2016, and email from fire chief dated January 4th, 2017, memo from the fire chief dated July 6th, 2021, and the memo from the building inspector dated July 7th, 2021, an email from fire chief dated July 26th, 2023, and an email from interim building commissioner dated August 1st, 2023. Number 10, that the applicant obtains and keeps current a favorable restroom inspection from the Board of Health. 11, that the parking lot maintains a carry-out trash policy and assures such a policy is adhered to by its paying patrons. Number 12, that 4 shrubs that were placed on the property abutting Cliff Road are maintained. 13, signage. The following shall be posted on a sign to be erected by the applicant. The size and location of said sign to be agreed with the building commissioner. A, Sign says A, fee for parking, B, number of cars allowed by the license, C, location of restrooms and hours they are open, D, hours of operation, E, beach regulations, F, parking lot trash policy of carry in, carry out. 14, that the license fee is to be paid yearly to the city clerk on April 30th. The application is to be reviewed by the city council in 5 years unless it deems there is cause to review the license sooner due to any violations of conditions herein. 15, the city of Gloucester shall not be held liable for any claims incurred by the parking lot operation. 16, that the applicant obtain a certificate of insurance in the aggregate amount of $1 million, naming the city of Gloucester as the certificate holder, and that the coverage run for the duration of the yearly license, and I so move.
Second.
Motion's made by Counselor Grow and seconded by Counselor Worthley.
Madam Chair.
You have the floor.
In response to a number of communications issues that were brought up by neighbors, I've asked the city solicitor to address a couple of issues that came up. One was the issue that we've spoken of already, which was the belief that parking was being allowed off-site on Twilight and other roads. That there was some concerns about trash, whether or not trash was being removed from the site on a regular basis, and also about the placement of signs indicating the existence of the parking lot that were being placed on public property. So with that in mind, I've got some additional conditions that I would like to add in as an amendment, and I can read them out and we can deal with them as a block or however you like.
Why don't you just make the motion to amend and
Okay.
put them all
I'm gonna
together?
make a motion to amend the list of conditions with the following. To be added to number 9, the licensed parking plan entitled Plot Plan Map 180 Lot 1 at 2 Long Beach Road, Gloucester, Massachusetts. Plan B prepared for Angelo Procaccini, prepared by Griffin Engineering Group LLC at 495 Cabot Street, 2nd floor, Beverly, Massachusetts, dated June 22nd, 2016. The 2 Long Beach Road Plan B shows the area to be used for parking and the number of vehicles permitted on site. And then I would like to add number 17, the applicant shall not park any vehicles in any areas other than the area of space to be actually used for parking vehicles as shown on the 2 Long Beach Road Plan B plan submitted and approved. Number 18, all trash shall be removed from the site on a daily basis. Number 19, the applicant shall not place or install any signs on public property. No A-frame or other signs shall be placed on sidewalks, streets, or any other public property. The applicant shall comply with all City of Gloucester sign regulations and ordinances. And finally, number 20, this license is granted with the above conditions. Any violation of any of the conditions contained in this license may cause the revocation or suspension of the license pursuant to Gloucester Code of Ordinances, section 22-153B. And with that, I move that amendment.
Counselor Grow moved his amendment, and Counselor Worthy seconded it. So a discussion on the amendment to the main motion.
I would just say.
And I'll start with Counselor Grow.
I would just say that these essentially dot i's and cross t's to what is in our code of ordinances already, but they're just articulated in a pretty clear way so that if there are any issues that come up, the neighbors have any problems, or if there's any violations of the conditions, that the applicant knows that they were clearly delineated at the time the permit and the license was granted. So that's the reasoning behind this, and hopefully it'll provide a harmonious relationship with the neighboring community.
Counselor Worthley.
Yes, thank you, Councilor Grove, for the amendments. It tells you P&D did some good work and you added to that. The only question I have is on number 18, which is all trash should be removed from the site on a daily basis, where one of the other prior conditions was must abide by the carry in, carry out program, which essentially means don't put trash barrels in that space and don't, I guess, there is a hybrid way where they're still responsible for cleaning the property after the day, I guess.
I
So
would suggest, so that's it. I mean, essentially, it's up to the owner of the parking lot to ensure that trash doesn't remain, whether, we all know how carry in, carry out works. And it works 90% of the time, there's still 10% trash.
Right.
So if people leave trash, they're responsible for getting rid of it.
So I think I understand exactly what you're gonna do. What we don't wanna do is if the applicant does put a barrel there to assist with that, that effect would be in violation of the other conditions earlier. So what you're saying is there wouldn't be barrels, but he's still responsible at the end of the day to clean up the trash.
And if he puts a barrel there, he's gonna have to be responsible for making sure it's empty by the end of the day, but I agree, he shouldn't put a barrel.
So,
Yeah, we have no intentions of putting a barrel in there. There isn't one now, so it's worked that way for years.
Okay,
thank you,
good.
appreciate it.
Any further discussion on the amendment to the main motion? Seeing none, roll call vote on the amendment to the main motion. Council O'Hara,
Yes.
Council O'Neill,
Yes.
Council Worthley.
Yes.
Council Gilman, yes. Council Gross is absent. Council Grow.
Yes.
Council Majota,
Yes.
Council Memard.
Yes.
Council Nolan.
Yes.
The amendment to the main motion passes 8 in favor, 1 absent. So now we're back to the main motion that now includes this amendment. Do you have any further narrative on this, Councilor Grow?
Nope.
Okay, further discussion on the main motion now.
I would just like to note that this is a very busy beach neighborhood. I did a walkthrough last weekend, one of the Twilight Avenue abutters. It's a thriving summer neighborhood, and it's just important that all these beach parking provisions be conducted in such a way that they don't interfere or detract from the people who own real estate and have homes and families there enjoying this neighborhood. So thank you, Peter, and I wish you well.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Any further discussion, councilors? I would just like to add that I grew up on Briar Neck and used to walk this path every day, sometimes twice a day. And it's a hustle bustle neighborhood. And from what I understand, for the most, this parking lot has been handled very satisfactorily. So so I will be supporting this. So so we're ready for the roll call vote on the main motion. Council O'Hara,
Yes.
Council O'Neill,
Yes.
Council Worthley,
Yes.
Council Gilman, yes. Council Gross is absent. Council Grow,
Yes.
Council Majota,
Yes.
Council Memard.
Yes.
Council Nolan.
Yes.
The yeses have it, 8 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you so much, Peter, for being here. And good luck.
Thank you for having me, and I appreciate it. Like I said, we're excited about it, so I appreciate it, and we're excited to be part of the neighborhood a little more than we already were, so thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
As for council vote is the warrant for the September 19th, 2023 municipal preliminary election.
14th.
No, it's the 19th. I'm sorry, that's an error on the template. I should know that.
Okay.
I'm really sorry. I've been dealing with dates all
So
over the place.
It's the 14th.
It's
That's the 19th.
It's the 19th.
19th.
Okay.
Okay, so if you look at the year.
I see.
Yeah,
I see.
okay.
I see.
So my
Oh.
apologies to everyone.
We could approve a 2021 election also, but I think that's in the rear.
But I
view.
think, it is correct on the agenda.
So I'm gonna, so the motion is to accept, to adopt the warrant for the municipal preliminary election to be held on September 19th, 2023.
So moved.
Moved by Council
Second.
Worthley, seconded by Council Memard. Is there a discussion?
Good luck to you. Good luck.
Seeing none, roll call vote. Council O'Hara,
Yes.
Council O'Neill,
Yes.
Council Worthley,
Yes.
Council Gilman, yes. Council Gross is absent. Council Grow.
Yes.
Council Majota,
Yes.
Council Memard.
Yes.
And Council Nolan.
Yes.
The yeses have it, 8 in favor, 1 absent.
Okay, can I just make an
Go ahead,
announcement? Okay.
Counselor, our city clerk would like to make an announcement.
Okay, So I will need the counselors to come in and sign the warrant, so we can post it and put it in the clerk's books for the election.
Okay, and what's your time frame on requiring the signatures?
Well, I don't want to give you too much time, but as soon as possible, but we have to post the warrant at least 7 days before the election.
Okay,
Does everyone have to sign it?
Yes,
so you're hoping for the next week, if that's
Yes,
possible.
if
Okay, so
possible.
counselors, you have a week to go to the clerk's office and sign this. It's important. Thank you. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
is the individual counselors' discussion, including reports by appointed counselors to committees, and Councilor O'Hara, City Council statement regarding the Gloucester 400th celebration.
Council O'Hara, would you mind reading the statement supporting our 400?
Not at all, it'd be my pleasure. 2023 marks 400 years since the English Dorchester Company landed on our shores. Gloucester sits on the ancestral homeland of the Pawtucket people and their neighbors, the Massachusetts Nipmuc, Pennacook, and Wampanoag tribes. Please enjoy the year-long and multiple events throughout 2023, most of which are free or low cost. Visit gloucesterma400.org for a list of upcoming events. Like and share the Gloucester 400 Facebook page. To receive major event notifications by email, send a request to info@gloucesterma400.org.
Thank you, Council O'Hara.
You're very welcome.
Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Counselors' request to the mayor.
Councilor's request to the mayor. So we will start with Council O'Hara.
Thank you. I just, obviously, everyone, our prayers all go out to the people in Maui. It's a terrible, terrible event that's took place and still ongoing, but hopefully we can learn from this event. We as a city, we have limited cell phone coverage. I know there's been a lot of back and forth on cell phone placements, particularly in West Gloucester, but also this same issue exists in Ward 4, that hopefully with between the city and our state partners, that not only can we get cell phone coverage 100% all over Cape Ann, but throughout the entire Commonwealth, because I think it's been proven that not many people have wired phones anymore. And most people have cell, and trying to get out an emergency call for whatever the purpose is so important. It'll save lives. And I think it's time that we put other issues behind us and get these cell phone towers erected for the safety of our public. Also, with that said, I've mentioned, I've asked the administration, I think it's time that we invest in a tender, which is a fire tanker truck. It's been spoken about, whether it's Rust Island or Dogtown or any place within the city. We need water. We have limited water. Having a tanker in the neighborhood of 3,000 gallons will give us a start to fight those fires. I think it's so important. So also with the Maui event, City of Gloucester has the largest refrigeration on the East Coast in the freezers that we have in East Gloucester and on Roger Street. That we've had an event decades ago. Many of us probably don't remember it or weren't around when there was an explosion at Flanagan Square. It was a terrible event, but unfortunately the accidents happen. Trying to evacuate the city is going to be a major obstacle as we expand and put more people on the island. That we have to consider this. We have to consider this with the expansion. I know the MBTA, with the potential of the 2,000 plus units, those represent people that have to get off the island in whether it's a man-made or a natural disaster, that we consider everything in the potential expansion, water, getting people off the island. I think it's so important. Ask the mayor that if we can get that hydrant replaced that was taken out by, I believe, a plowing operation. It's in front of Grand Banks on Crafts Road or Rust Island. That hydrant has not been replaced. It's been mentioned in the oral communications, but I think it would definitely be of benefit in moving water on the island if an event took place. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor O'Neill.
Yes, thank you. I would like to request that the mayor reach out to National Grid regarding their property on Rogers Street. It's a disgrace. Gorton's, it's right in between Gorton and Americold. Gorton's is beautiful property. Americold's very well manicured. I think it's a shame that a multi-billion-dollar company has such a piece of property in such poor condition. So I'm asking the mayor to please reach out to National Grid again, if he hasn't done so already. I did request this 2 weeks ago, but I understand National Grid. I know how they are. So second request would be request that the mayor repair and or replace sidewalks on Sadler, Mount Vernon, Lower Perkins. I don't believe Staten Street has any sidewalks. It's not wide enough for a sidewalk, but if you could help the people on Staten Street get a decent road, that would be nice. With the addition of the new school, there's gonna be 400 children in the area. Not that 400 are gonna be walking, but there are gonna be walkers, and those sidewalks are crumbled. If existed, they're there, if you know they're there, but you can't walk on them. I walk those streets to get my steps in. I walk them just to get up the hill and, you know, get a cardio workout, and you have to go out into the street. And these children are gonna be walking in the street, so please put some sidewalks on Sadler, Mount Vernon, Lower Perkins Street. Upper Perkins already has them, I believe. And maybe help out Staten Street a little bit. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Worthley.
Thank you. I believe we may have all received a phone call from a Michael Militello who lives on Proctor Street. He told me he'd called all the counselors, or he's going to, but that was a message I got. And he has some sort of, I think he has custody of his granddaughter, and he's saying that he can't get a bus. And Proctor Street to the new East Veteran School is obviously it's a long walk. I don't know what the time frame, the distance is that's allowed, but I'd love to have the school committee or the mayor through the school committee to either reach out to him to see if there's an option to be helpful. Fairly is asking for some assistance. We all know the creek was closed last week. I think the mayor said maybe beginning of the season that there's gonna be an end of summer review. So obviously we're not there yet, and I respect there's more information to come and more presentations to come. But there's, the testing was through the roof again about a week ago, and I think we need to really step up our communication on that. Everyone's read, I'm sure there's a post about our water supply. I don't know if it's the Board of Health, DPW that tests our water, requests a official test in every category that could be tested, I'm sorry. I want to draw attention, even though it's not tax time yet for income taxes, but there is a Massachusetts senior circuit breaker tax credit, $1,200 if you're 65 or over, and your real estate taxes, sewer bill and water bill are over 10% of your income. And your income's not higher than 96,000 for a married couple, there's a $1,200 credit. Certainly look into that and check with your accountant, but with water bills and sewer bills coming up, I'm sure people are feeling that, and I want to draw the attention to it. On Sunday, September 17th, there is the Fish Box Derby. I know that Councilor Nolan has played a big role in not only working on that, but getting the cars up to speed and inspected. There's a deadline of Sunday, August 27th. We won't meet before then to have your fish box inspected by them, but I read online that it's at 14 Conlin Road, which I happen to know is Extreme Truck and Auto. Thank you, Councilor Nolan, for all your work on that. People might not remember that the Fish Box Derby used to be on Centennial Ave, and it was a lot faster, it was a lot steeper, and there were lots of injuries. Not to say that it's completely risk-free on Roger Street, but it's a little more, it's a little safer and hopefully kids enjoy that. And then the last thing on my list, I share your concern, Councilor Neal, with the traffic at the new school, but I think we should also pay attention, everybody should pay attention that between Plum Cove, Beaman School, West Parish, East Veterans, O'Malley, and Gloucester High School, there'll be a lot more kids walking. There'll be people driving faster because they might be late for school. We should all just drive a little more slowly and more cautiously. My son was almost hit by a car last year, someone decided that the stop sign and buses mattered to him, and it was a close call. So just everyone drives carefully and cautiously. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Grow. Yeah.
Two things, not really a request to the mayor, but more to inform the community that the Community Development Office is having their first comprehensive plan update open house on Saturday, September 9th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Kairou's Auditorium. So if you are interested in this process, this will be going on for the next year or so. At 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Kairou's Auditorium. They are going to have an open house. It's going to be a 2-hour long thing. There will be a presentation at 11 a.m. You can find out more information by calling the Community Development Department, and I will post their Innovate Gloucester, their announcement on Facebook. In addition, there was a recent update to the MBTA TOD legislation that came out of the governor's office just in the last day, I think. I haven't had a chance to read it myself. It has to do with including buildings with multi-use. If this is an issue that is concerned to you, I would suggest looking that up. Again, I'll post that on Facebook. I haven't read it, so I don't know the full extent of it, but this is an issue that is going to be addressed, in the next year. And for people who want to be on top of it, that's the way to keep on top. That's all I got.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Majota.
I don't have any all the requests that I've done. I have been via email with the mayor's office, and they've been in great communication, so I'm good.
Great, thank you. Counselor Memard.
I've been in touch with the mayor's office on a number of constituent concerns and matters, and they've been very responsive and helpful on those. We're making some specific progress on constituent requirements in the Ward 1 East Gloucester area. I'd like to agree with Councilor Grow. The upcoming planning program is something that we all want to participate in. I've also posted the notice about that on my Facebook pages. And the planning meeting that's coming up on Saturday in 2 weeks is going to be great. But also I would like to thank the mayor and the DPW and all involved in the recent paving work on Eastern Avenue and the area of Webster Street. It was extremely disruptive for everybody in the neighborhood, but it's behind us now, and we've got some gorgeous, beautiful new safe sidewalks and new pavement, which is due to be lined very, very shortly. But we're taking every measure we can to be ready for the students, and we do have open houses this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, both for students and their families, and then for the community at large. And please check out the opportunity to come and visit this beautiful new school. Thank you.
Counselor Nolan.
Most of my requests to the mayor I've already done through email or by voice. I would like to point out that the Magnolias Farmers Market and Ask a Counselor has been working out very well. This weekend coming up, I'd like to have Councilor Gross, Councilor Grow, and Councilor Gilman attend if they would. I can't be there because I will be at the Fish Box Derby inspections, but you'll be well represented. And I ask everybody to come by and ask questions. There's a good feel of the people there, and it's nice to be able to reach out to a counselor and actually ask things. We have people come back that say, I wanted to ask a question last week, but I didn't know how to do it, but now I'm here, and they ask it, and it works out well. We have a pretty good record of getting things done. The other thing I do want to say is, please be careful what you read on Facebook. A lot of things aren't factual, and I'm going to give kudos tonight to someone that's on the line, Barnaby Prendergast, and Sean Henry, who's not on the line tonight. But sometimes if you really want to know what's going on, ask the people or go to the city's website and find the information. It can be misleading, and when people start talking about things that aren't true or false, it causes for more confrontation to try to make Gloucester a better place. So please rely on your elected officials and the city information to find your facts. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Nolan. And I'm last, and I have three things. The first thing I wanted to mention is that because we think that Council Nolan, the Ask a Counselor has been such a success. This Friday at the Annisquam Farmers Market, we're gonna try the first we're gonna do 9 to 10 in the morning on Friday to do a similar Ask a Counselor. We're gonna have a booth there, and I've spoken to Bud Reese and he's all in and he's excited. I like the fact that it's not a campaign event for counselors. It's really to just ask day-to-day type of questions that come up. And that's part of the bylaws of the Magnolia Farmers Market. So I think that this is all great. And so I'm going to be looking forward to doing that. And for this first week, we will have Tony Gross, who lives in Annisquam. And then when this is the last session for the year. So next summer, we'll start off the summer, and whomever is elected will be able to carry on a tradition in Annisquam at the farmers market, which is every Friday from 9 to 12, I think, or 9 to 1. I think it's 9 to 12. So anyway, parking is always a little tough, but it's a very popular event. I was there this past week and bought some yummy salmon and talked to everybody for over an hour. It was really exciting. So that's one thing. And thank you, Council Nolan, for taking the lead on that great idea. And thank you for letting me borrow your sign. So I'll get that out of your truck. I appreciate it. The other thing that I wanted to mention is this Saturday night, we're excited that Amy Shapiro is going to be having a forum at the Lanesville Community Center. I believe it starts at 6:30. It's posted well all over the community, and it's to celebrate on the 26th of this month is National Women's Equality Day. And she's going to have a panelist of locals like V from the Cape Ann Veteran Services, and Elise from the Council on Aging, and Sunny Robinson representing affordable housing, and other very strong women in the community and other panelists. And as you all know, we all signed a proclamation. And so I'll be introducing Amy Shapiro, who's leading this forum, and presenting the proclamation that we all signed. So it's kind of exciting, and I'm looking forward to it, and it's open for everyone, not just women. So you all, it is this Saturday. So love to see some faces there, and it's exciting. And the third thing I want to say, I think it's 6:30, but I have to look. I've posted it on my Facebook page, and I know they have some other things, but I'll confirm it tomorrow. I know I have to be there at 6, but I think the time might be 6:30. So the other thing I wanted to say is we've been asked by the Open Door once again, which we really appreciate, for our next meeting on September 12th to support. September is our Hunger Action Month. And we all have our orange shirts that we were given last year, and I encourage you all to wear your orange shirts. And we are going to be live at Kairos for the first time in 3 years as a city council. And I am so grateful and excited, and I hope to see all of the members of the public that want to come and join us. And what I'm suggesting that we do to make this first meeting back is, with your permission, I'll work with Open Door and come up with a proclamation on the importance of this month of September. And I'll ask that we all read a section of it at the opening of our September 12th meeting. So we'll all share the reading of it. And I'll also ask if it's okay with you, I'd like to treat the council to a sheet cake which will have something regarding the open door in this important month. So at the end of our meeting, we can just, in honor of this important month and this great agency that really does so much for our people that need it the most, we'll have a piece of cake and we'll celebrate, we're back together, and most importantly, we'll celebrate the importance of the open door. So, so that is it. So without Councilor Nolan.
I believe you forgot one of the best things you'd mentioned earlier is if we could all bring some sort of a canned good or some sort of food that we can donate to the open door at that event.
That would be great. So we'll have a little bin when people walk in. So whether you're a counselor or a member of the public, we'd love you to bring a can or something that's important, and we'll make sure that it's delivered. And between Councilor Majota, Councilor Grow, and Councilor, who else?
Tony Gross.
Of course, Tony Gross, who is a volunteer there all the time. Somebody will bring it there bright and early the next day. So we're excited about all the volunteering. So is there a motion to adjourn, Councilors? Seconded by Councilor Grow. And we have a roll call. Councilor O'Hara,
Yes.
Councilor O'Neill,
Yes.
Councilor Worthley.
Yes.
Councilor Gilman, yes. Councilor Grow,
Yes.
Councilor Majota,
Yes.
Councilor Memard,
Yes.
Councilor Nolan.
Yes, have a great night.
Good night, everyone. Motion passes. The meeting's adjourned. Thank you,
Good night.
Joanne. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Whatever.